Like and subscribe right now, or you're going to have terrible luck for the next week. Some people are strong, but others they're very, very strong. In fact, they might just beat Superman in an arm wrestling match. They could wrestle a bear, punch a hole in a plane, or even tear a novel in half with ease. These are the strongest people in the world. Our first entry is Brian Shaw.
Eddie Hall, the third competitor to get his tire across the line.
Brian Shaw, a pro strongman athlete with an amazing competition record, was born in the United States in 1982. In the years 2011, 13, 15, and 16, he won the World's Strongest Man competition 4 times in a row, and was also the only guy in history to win both the Strongest Man and the Old Strongman Classic in the same year. Not only that, he also managed to win this incredible double in 2011 and 2015. Let's just state right now that Brian is a formidable opponent, and he entered the final round tied with 2-time world champion Zydrunas Savicus in his debut year as the World's Strongest Man winner. The iconic Atlas stones, which had to be raised and placed on a barrel in the quickest time possible, awaited both men, and no one thought that it was possible. However, Shaw stunned the world by defeating Services at the Atlas stones. In 2015, the same 2 men met again in the final round, and Shaw won for the second time, ensuring that his name would go down in history. However, Shaw's golden days were short-lived as he finished 5th in the 2020 Strongman competition. Will he be able to reclaim his throne in the future? Only time will tell if it's true. Before moving to the next number, we just want a small favor from you. Like this video and subscribe to our channel. Press the bell icon and get 1 week good luck for you. Try this, it really works. Our next entry is Eddie Hall. Eddie Hall was born in the British town of Newcastle-under-Lyme in 1988, and while his parents called him Eddie, most people just called him the Beast. This strong man, who's now retired, has won a variety of events, including the 2017 World's Strongest Man title, which he actually lifted. After the triumph, he became the first British guy to win since 1993. Eddie also held the world record for deadlifting a total weight of 1,102 pounds. He struggled in school, and would be expelled when he was just 15 years old. He did, however, acquire a passion for rugby through swimming. His actual skill began to emerge when he went into bodybuilding. In 2011, he won the UK's Strongest Man competition for the first time, setting a new world record for the Vikings to hold. If you're wondering what it entails, it's stretching your arms fully out and carrying a big 44-pound Viking axe in each hand. He did it for 1 minute and 18 seconds, which he said felt like a week. He began competing in the World's Strongest Man competitions, finishing 4th in 2015, putting him among the top contenders. In 2017, his ambitions came true as he won the competition. Our next entry is Mark Felix. Mark Felix is a Grenadian British strongman who was born in 1966 and is well known among fans of the World's Strongman competition. He's also won a slew of international grip competitions, including the Rolling Thunder title in 2008 and 2009, before moving on to the Vice Grip Viking Challenge in 2011 and 2012. Mark's career began in 2004 when he placed 3rd in Britain's Strongest Man competition. He finished 2nd that year, and his fame would be on the rise. He was ready to compete on the international stage after winning 3 of the 5 events in the next tournament and placing 1st. So he then traveled to Sao Paulo, Brazil to compete in the IFSA Strongman World Championship qualifications for 2005, but however, did not qualify. So it was back to Britain, where he finished 2nd in the Strongest Man contest for the 2nd time. This time deciding to put everything on the line and compete in the big one. The World's Strongest Man contest in 2007, where he would place 7th. He's already qualified for 3 of the World's Strongest Man competitions, making his dreams come true. Our next entry is Adam Bishop.
330 pounds, but I'm still closer to normal than a lot of...
Adam Bishop is a part-time strong man in the United Kingdom, but if this is what he's capable of when he's just doing it part-time, we can only think of what he'd be able to do if he took up the sport full-time. He came in 6th place in the World's Strongest Man competition in 2020, and not only that, but in the same year was named Britain's Strongest Man. Bishop frequently refers to himself in the media as one of the little guys, but I'm not really convinced this 300-pound colossus qualifies as such. He enjoys playing rugby, where he prefers the winger position, and also participates in skeleton bobsleigh, which makes you question if it would be difficult to slow down a bobsleigh with him on board once it gets going. Ever since 2012, he started competing in strongman competitions. After being defeated at the Atlas Stones event, he was unable to compete in the 16th World's Strongest Man competition. Another failure in 2018 seemed to spur him on, and he eventually made it to the finals in 2019, placing 9th. He achieved his best performance to date in 2020, and some have speculated that he might one day be a serious contender for the world title. Our next entry is Nick Best.
Allowing me to do this. It's getting hard.
This strong man, who was born in 1968, holds several records. In 1996 and 1997 he won the National Powerlifting Championships, then went on to set the world record for the farmer's walk with a time of 47.3 seconds. Following that, he then won the All-American Strongman Challenge in 2010, qualifying him for the prestigious Arnold Strongman Classic the following year, where he placed 9th. Then he was able to fulfill his lifelong ambition of competing in the World's Strongest Man competition, and since his debut in 2010, he has qualified for a whopping 10 World's Strongest Man competitions in a row, with his highest finish being 6th in his first year. In 2011, he competed in the All-American Strongman Challenge, finishing with a respectable 7th place. More world records would follow, including one for the hip lift. He's participated in competitions all around the world, which includes Canada, Australia, and Europe. Wearing a t-shirt with the words "Best Strong" on it says everything about American powerlifter Nick Best. Our next entry is Bill Kazmaier.
Slept it, dreamed it, breathed it. Bill Kazmaier probably was the strongest.
Bill Kazmaier was a legend in the powerlifting world in the 70s and 80s. Born in 1953 in Burlington, Wisconsin, he then went on to become regarded as the strongest man who ever lived after attempting to equal and surpass all of the feats of strength that were accomplished by famous strongmen in the old days. Bill, who is of German descent, left collegiate football in '74 to pursue his actual interest in powerlifting. He supported himself as a logger, bouncer, and oil engineer, and soon after he was shattering powerlifting records and winning competitions all around the country. In 1981, he shattered the world record bench press of 612 pounds by lifting 661 pounds. He then subsequently went on to hold 3 of the 4 world records in powerlifting at the same time. Simultaneously, he began competing as the world's strongest man, absolutely dominating the sport and winning by significant margins in 1980, 81, and 82. He's one of just 2 men to win the race 3 times in a row. He was so outstanding, in fact, that the organizers stopped inviting him to the tournaments, and he couldn't compete for the following 4 years. This appears to be a little bit impolite. It's like Wimbledon telling Novak Djokovic that he can't play any longer. Bill then subsequently moved into wrestling, where he had further success in the WWF before quitting to focus on his faith and establishing a fitness career. He believes that his work as a motivational speaker for 3D Sports Tech, which he does for the school and YMCA groups, to be his most significant contribution to public life, using the phrase "I can, and I will" to encourage young people to live healthier and more productive lives. The Bill also competed for New Japan Pro Wrestling while in WCW, and his theme song was Van Halen's Pound Cake. It's a classic. Our next entry is Halfbert Julius Bjornsson. Halfbert Julius Bjornsson is a strong man from Iceland who is perhaps best known for Strongman Champions. He's the only individual to win the Arnold Strongman Classic, Europe's Strongest Man, and the World's Strongest Man all in the same year. This is despite the fact that he began his career as a basketball player, which is not exactly a sport where being extremely muscular is generally advantageous. Following an ankle injury, he would be forced to retire in 2008 after making his debut with the top Icelandic basketball side in 2004. He shifted his focus to his strongman career at that time and began with a bang winning Iceland's Strongest Man in 2010, then Europe's Strongest Man in 2014. In 2015, 17, 18, and 19, he then won this tournament 4 more times. In 18, 19, and 20 he won gold in the Arnold Strongman Classic. The main prize, however, was his first gold medal in the World's Strongest Man competition, which he won in 2018 after 6 years of finishing either second or third. From the blockbuster HBO series Game of Thrones, you may recognize him as Gregor the Mountain Cleaned. Our next entry is Martin Ford.
He's one way.
Returning to the United Kingdom for another look at one of the British giants, it's a man named Martin Ford. Not British novelist Roald Dahl's BFG. Martin is a huge guy measuring at 6 feet 8 and weighing 320 pounds. He was born in Staffordshire in 1982 and was a promising cricket player in his teens. However, cricket was absolutely boring, so he was quickly moving on to other things. Finally, his cricket aspirations were shattered by an injury and a case of glandular fever, so he turned his attention to bodybuilding instead. He now boasts about his 3 major life achievements, being a sponsored athlete, a fitness model, and an actor. He follows a strict diet and works out nearly every day. People facing problems, he adds, should remember his tale of surviving glandular fever to become a bodybuilder, because conquering that struggle like his might lead to greatness. Our next entry is Todd Laas. Todd Laas, a stoutly built Lithuanian, won the 2013 Arnold Strongman Classic by a landslide, defeating the colossal Brian Shaw and a strong field of competitors to claim his first Lewis Sear trophy. Even those who watched Laas participate in the 2012 TWI World's Strongest Man contest when he came in second behind his countryman Zydrunas Savicus by a razor-thin margin. They were surprised when the shortest guy in the lineup at 5 feet 10 inches and 310 pounds came out on top. In the last event of the competition, Laas used his extraordinarily broad shoulders to create a new Arnold Classic record in the circus dumbbell press, making 5 repetitions with the 120 kilo or 264 pound monster for a new Arnold record. He, like his good buddy Zydrunas, is a modest deep thinker who identified reading as a favorite recreational activity. Laas relocated to Dublin, Ireland a few years ago, where he currently owns and operates a gym and does the majority of his training. His younger brother Marius is also a professional strongman competitor who placed third in the 2012 Strongman Champions League Russia competition. Our next entry is Dimitro Kaladzi. Dimitro Kaladzi is a Ukrainian champion athlete and the 2009 winner of the Ukrainian Drug-Free Powerlifting Federation's first bench press championship. If you're curious about the Ukrainian Drugged Powerlifting Federation, I'll be honest, I am as well. I certainly don't want to be present for the crystal meth weight class. Demetrius achieved his triumph after overcoming some incredible challenges. Not the least the horrible injuries he suffered as a youngster when a teapot full of boiling water fell on him, inflicting serious burns. He needed 7 operations and 12 blood transfusions, and his muscles atrophied, forcing him to relearn how to walk at the age of 6. But this only strengthened his resolve, and the only thing that appears to be stronger than his arms is his character and desire to live. He began his career in the circus doing a number of variety acts, and also won a prestigious literary prize for his work in 2010, demonstrating that he had both creative talent and Herculean strength. He's also dabbled in acting, demonstrating that he's considerably more than his several powerlifting records. Our next entry is Mateusz Kieliszkowski. Mateusz Kieliszkowski is a strongman from Poland, a country in Eastern Europe, if you didn't know. His exceptional talents and the strongman skills of pressing Atlas stones and other moving events have earned him worldwide acclaim. He first became interested in strongman competitions in high school at the age of 17. He competed in his first competition, which was organized by several of his classmates. This would be the beginning of a famous career in a strongman competition, and he cemented his global fame by winning the 2014 Arnold Amateur Tournament. With this victory, he qualified for the 2015 Arnold Classic, where he then finished third. Demonstrating his enormous strength to the universe, his personal records include a 926-pound deadlift with straps and suit, a 472-pound log lift, and 4 world records. Circus dumbbell press, Sears dumbbell press frame carry, and the car walk in which he pulled a 990-pound vehicle for 10 seconds. With a gold medal in the 2019 World's Ultimate Strongman competition under his belt, the sky appears to be the limit. Our next entry is Iris Kyle. Iris Kyle was born in 1974 in Beaver Harbor, Michigan. The fifth of 6 children, her siblings must have had to wait their turn at the dinner table since Iris was already developing the massive body that would make her renowned at a young age. She swept her way into an incredible 9 Miss Olympia bodybuilding championship, demonstrating her dedication to the sport and her hunger for a nutritional diet. According to statistics, she is the best female bodybuilder of all time. Her family relocated to Orange County, California, when she was younger, and Iris attributes her fascination with the healthy, muscular people that she saw there as being the catalyst for her bodybuilding career. She also credits God, since, as we all know from the Bible, is a huge fan of female bodybuilders, right? Iris always takes a rest day on Sundays and begins each workout with a prayer, and because she speaks fluent Spanish and German, she can perhaps spice things up a little while on the phone with the big guy himself. Throwing down some olas or some avid zine, or maybe God's just afraid of her because of her amazing strength and muscles. Our next entry is Donna Moore. Donna Moore is regarded as one of the greatest champions in the world of strong women, having won the World's Strongest Woman competition 3 times. She won the award in 2016 at 17 and 19, and was able to introduce herself as the world's strongest woman to whomever she encountered. She was born in the English town of Colburn, in the county of North Yorkshire. Donna is sometimes referred to as the Queen of the Vikings, and this is a pretty apt description. Not just because of her Viking-like strength, but also because the county of Yorkshire in England was once a Viking settlement, and many modern people from the area have a significant amount of Norse heritage. As evidenced by Donna's astonishing musculature, Gary Gardner, her training partner, is credited with inspiring her to begin competing in strong women's sports in 2012. Our next entry is Nathan Jones.
There he goes.
Strong!
Nathan Jones was born in Australia in 1967, and has since moved on to be a powerlifting champion, strongman, and even a World Wrestling Association competitor. But things weren't always like that. After conducting 8 violent crimes in 1987, he would be placed on Australia's most wanted list, and was quickly apprehended, sentenced to 16 years in prison. I imagine officers didn't really have any problem recognizing him in a crowd at 6'11". Jones was freed after serving 7 years in jail, where he learned new talents such as weightlifting, and how to get jacked on steroids. In jail, there's so much to learn. He quickly rose to become Australia's national powerlifting champion, earning the moniker of Mega Man. Then in 1995, he started competing in international events, winning one against Gary Taylor, the previous world's strongest man. Later that year he then competed in his first World's Strongest Man competition, and in the arm wrestling event he faced European arm wrestling champion, Magnus Samuelsson. Jones ended up with a fractured arm as a result of the arm wrestle, and would be forced to withdraw from the tournament. The next step was then a move into mixed martial arts. However, he was beaten in his first fight by Grand Sumo champion Koji Kateo. He then quickly discovered his calling, joining the WWE as a warm-up match combatant before the camera started filming the main event. Our next entry is Zydrunas Savicus.
Anybody can break the 40-second barrier.
Many people throughout the world regard Lithuanian Zydrunas Savicus as the greatest strongman of all time. He's won many championships in all of the strongman events, and only a few guys can equal his total amount of crowns. Zydrunas, who was born in 1975, was motivated after seeing a Lithuanian strongman competition on television in 1989. Only 3 years later, he then was participating in the same tournament on television. At the age of 17, he overcame considerably more seasoned opponents. Following that, he then made his powerlifting breakthrough, smashing all of Lithuania's powerlifting records. It would be obvious that Savicus would have to face the entire globe, not simply Lithuania. He sustained a devastating injury just as he was establishing himself on the international stage, which many feared would put a stop to his career. After a 9-month recuperation period, he then returned even stronger than before, finishing second in the 2002 World's Strongest Man competition. He would go on to win the tournament 4 times, placing second 6 times. He also won the Arnold Strongman Classic an incredible 8 times. In addition to a seemingly infinite series of the strongman wins in a variety of events across the world. Now that he's inactive, he maintains a YouTube channel where he talks about strongman topics. Our next entry is Andy Bolton. Andy Bolton is another powerlifter from Yorkshire, England, and I'm guessing it's something to do with the food they consume in that part of the world, a lot of spinach, perhaps. Bolton won his first powerlifting competition when he was only 21 years old, which is impressive. He now holds the Global Powerlifting Organization's world record, and he's well known for becoming the first guy to deadlift a 1,000-pound weight. He competed in a deadlift contest in Elizabethtown High School called the Night of the Living Dead, in which he lifted 960.5 pounds with just a pair of underwear and some brightly colored socks. He published his first book, Deadlift Dynamite, in 2012, which was obviously dedicated to deadlifting. He also competed in a number of strongman competitions, with a 5th place finish in the 2002 Arnold Strongman competition being one of his most remarkable accomplishments. According to the World Powerlifting Organization, he owns the current world record in the squat. Our next entry is Brian Siders. Brian Siders was a world-class powerlifter who competed for Team USA. He was born in 1978 and is regarded as one of the most powerful individuals to have ever walked the face of this lonely little planet. His expertise is in press movements, and he began his training in high school where he focused on the bench press and upper body. However, in the fall of 1997, he switched to squatting and deadlifting, and in 1998 he competed in his first powerlifting competition. He trains 7 days a week for up to 4 hours a day at his home gym. All of that work has resulted in several world records in powerlifting, which includes a world record of 2,452 pounds in 2004. He also held the world record for bench press at 775.5 pounds and finished the tournament with a total weight of 2,596 pounds, another world record. He competed in the World's Strongest Man competition and finished as high as 5th in the Arnold Strongman Classic in 2005. Our next entry is Wojciech Pudzianowski. Wojciech Pudzianowski, also known as Pudzian or the Dominator in Poland. He is a former strongman competitor and a current mixed martial artist. He earned 5 World's Strongest Man championships throughout his strongman career, the most in history. In 2006 and 2009, he was also runner-up twice. He made his mixed martial arts debut in 2009 and has been practicing karate since he was 11 years old. His current rank is 4th Kyu green belt. Pudzianowski began boxing training at the age of 15 and stopped after 7 years. He made his professional debut at the age of 16, competing in the bench press event at the Polish Weightlifting Championship. His immense strength, on the other hand, caused some problems. He then served 19 months in prison for assault in 2000 and 2001. He stated that he intended to arrest a local mafia leader in an interview and was accused of assaulting and stealing his golden chain. At the 2000 World's Strongest Man competition, he finished 4th, achieving his first significant international triumph. Following his release from jail, he then competed in the 2002 World's Strongest Man, earning his first championship. At the 2003 World's Strongest Man, he kept his title by the greatest margin ever obtained in the sport. He also won the Strongman Super Series World Championship in March of 2004 and came in third place in the 2004 World's Strongest Man competition, but was then disqualified subsequently for violating the governing body's strongman health policy. He was forced to refund his prize money deprived of the event's International Federation of Strength Athletes points, and was also banned from competing for a year. He then renounced his right to have his stool sample verified, and did not contest his prohibited drug violation. In 2005 he then came back to win the title for the third time. Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take me 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal: you just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribes button and hit the notification bell, and you'll get 15 years of amazing luck. Try it, it really works. Vasyl Vadimiev. He is a former strongman competitor and politician from Ukraine. He is the younger brother of Olympic shot putter Roman Verstik, and the world's strongest man in 2004 would be won by him. And then he ran for the Servant of the People in a parliamentary by-election on March 28 of 2021. He would be sworn in as a member of the Ukrainian parliament in June of that year, and he'd probably toss you over a house or something if you didn't vote for him. In the years 2003 and 2004, he participated in the World's Strongest Man finals and placed third in 2003. Vadimiev took first place in the 2004 World Strongman competition, beating out Savicus and Pudzianowski. There was a schism in the world of strongman sports after this triumph. While some competitors like him and Savicus began competing for the IFSA Strongman title, and others, like Pudzianowski, continued to fight for the Met RX World's Strongest Man title. Vadimiev upset two-time IFSA World Champion Savicus by winning the 2007 IFSA World Championship in South Korea, after finishing second in 2005 and third in 2006. He would become the first athlete in the history of a strongman to win both the World's Strongest Man and an IFSA World Championship with this achievement. Our next entry is Katona. Katona is a Serbian strongman athlete who competes in the World's Strongest Man competition on a regular basis. Katona is of Hungarian descent and was a national junior kickboxing champion when he was younger. At the age of 25, he then transitioned into the realm of strength athletics and began weight training. He quickly amassed a number of Balkan accolades, including the title of Serbia's Strongest Man. He joined the International Federation of Strength Athletes, but was unable to compete in the World's Strongest Man event due to the latter's split from World's Strongest Man. In both 2006 and 2007 he competed in the IFSA version. He would be the key player on a Strongman Champions League Sergeant list in 2008, and his frequent podium performances would win him second place overall behind his close friend Zydrunas Savicus. Katona tore his biceps at the Strongman Champions League tournament in his hometown in 2009 and recovered in time to compete in the renowned 2009 World's Strongest Man event in Malta. However, he was unable to qualify for the finals. Katona qualified for the Strongest Man finals in 2010, coming in 7th place, and also won 3 Strongman Champions League tournaments in 2010. One in Bulgaria, Serbia and Slovakia. Katona's biggest personal success, according to him, is owning a gym in his hometown. After 28 days in the Big Brother VIP 2010 house, he came in 5th place. On April 25 of 2009, he would set a Guinness World Record in Milan, Italy, for the longest duration to detain a car weighing 2,156 pounds. In 2011, 12 Strongman Champions League seasons, he finished second overall for the first time, as well as second in 2008 and 2010. So I guess you could say that all of that pumping of iron amounts to something in the end. Which of these super strong men do you admire the most? Let me know in the comments below. Also check out the other cool stuff showing up on the screen.